We've been hearing from Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan speaking at the final day of a NATO conference being held here in Istanbul. NATO representatives have been meeting to develop the group's role in global security, and President Erdogan spoke about uniting to fight terrorism and other threats being faced in a global scale. Sandra Gathmann has been following the conference for us, and she joins us now live. Sandra, Recep Tayyip Erdogan spoke about the need to work hand in hand to address the threat of terrorism. What else did the Turkish president have to say?
Well, I think the main message coming from Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan was about the need for greater solidarity. He spoke about these being trying times, about the NATO military alliance facing numerous global threats, and that the alliance needs to reflect on what those common threats are, sending a very specific message and echoing, I think, remarks that the president made earlier in this week about the need for more solidarity when it comes to Turkey's fight against various terror groups. He's talking, of course, about Daesh and, of course, PKK and its Syrian wing, the YPG, and the concerns that the president has had about the lack of international and Western support when it comes to trying to create that safe zone that Turkey wants to establish along its southern corridor in order to fight those numerous terror threats. President Erdogan also spoke about the fact that he finds it hypocritical that some members of the NATO alliance have allegedly been supplying the YPG with weapons and at the same time classifying the PKK, its political wing in Turkey, as a terrorist organization. So calling out the need for more cooperation, solidarity when it comes to shared policies, recognizing that Turkey is part of the alliance, a key member. It's the second largest military force in NATO, and it really is on the border, at the doorstep of a major regional conflict, both in Syria and Iraq, but also recognizing the fact that shared policies when it comes to Russia are going to be ongoing, and that Turkey does share concerns with regards to infringements of territorial integrity in Ukraine. And his remarks will shortly be followed by remarks by the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, who is due to address all those shared concerns as well, Annalise.
Now, Sandra, this is the final day of the conference. Can you just explain to us who is at the meeting and how it differs from other NATO summits?
Well, this is the NATO Parliamentary Assembly. It was a forum established back in 1955. It differs from the NATO Military Committee, which is made up of NATO defense ministers. The delegates here are parliamentarians. They're made up of legislators coming from NATO's 28 member states, as well as other associated nations. They come here to discuss and exchange ideas. They draft and pass resolutions on NATO policy. And the idea is that they increase transparency. So they bring together these NATO policies that are dealt with and decided in the highest levels of government within the alliance, and make sure that civil society, that parliaments within the alliance and outside of it are on board, and that the public is involved in these high-level policies, and that there is consensus at the very base levels of legislation.
All right, Sandra Gathmann live from that NATO conference. Thank you very much for that update.